How to use a knife set properly. Introduction. Today we are going to learn how to use each knife in a set properly. This set contains 3 different types of knives. The first is a chef's knife. The chef's knife is the most versatile of all knives. It is used daily for chopping, slicing, dicing, and mincing. The next knife is the utility knife, which is a smaller version of the chef's knife, meaning it's also very versatile. It can be used for everything from slicing meat to cutting sandwiches. The last type of knives in the set are steak knives. They are usually multiple in a set and are typically found in a place setting at the dinner table. They are used for cutting harder meat such as steak and chicken. Before we learn how to actually use the knives, we must learn the 6 basic features of all knives. The first feature of the knife we will look at is the tip, which is the point of the knife used for precision, shown here. Next is the most important part of the knife, the cutting edge or sharp edge. This can either be serrated, used for cutting things such as breads, or straight edge, used for chopping or slicing. The third feature is the spine, or the unsharpened side opposite of the cutting edge. The next feature is one you might not be familiar with. It's called the bolster and is located in between the blade of the knife and the handle. This balances the knife. The handle is where you grip the knife. Lastly, we have the butt, which is the farthest end of the handle away from the blade. Now, we will go over how to use a chef's knife properly. The first thing you want to do is choose a surface to cut on. Here I'm using a plastic cutting board. The plastic's non-porous surface is easy to clean, making it both the safest and easiest option for food safety. After choosing your cutting surface, you need to hold the knife in the proper fashion. To do this, pick the knife up with your dominant hand by the handle. Next, pinch the knife blade right over the bolster with your index finger and thumb on opposite sides. Your remaining 3 fingers should be wrapped around the handle of the knife. Here's another angle of the proper gripping technique. One more time, you can see my index finger and thumb are on opposite sides of the blade right above the bolster, and my remaining 3 fingers are wrapped around the handle. Now that you're holding the knife in your dominant hand, your other hand will be used as a guiding hand and should be holding the food to make sure it doesn't move while you're cutting it. Place your hand on top of the food, in this case an apple, and curl your fingers inwards. The side of the knife blade will be parallel to the second knuckle of your guiding hand. Finally, we can start chopping. For this, place the tip of your knife on the board and chop downward with a rocking motion. Again, the steps are: first, to grip your knife; second, use your guiding hand to secure your food; and lastly, use the blade to chop in a rocking motion. This technique can be used for both the chef's knife and the utility knife because they are so similar. Using steak knives is a little bit different because they are used to cut things at dinner instead of for food preparation. To grip this knife, you hold the handle with all of your fingers except your index finger, which should extend down the back of the spine. Use your fork with the opposite hand to pin down the meat and use a sawing motion to cut. Here is a snapshot to show the grip of my dominant hand on the steak knife and my other hand holding the meat down with my fork in a similar fashion. After pinning down the meat, use a back and forth sawing motion to cut. Thanks for watching, and I hope these techniques will come in handy.